I feel like this should have been a whole hell of a lot better than it was. So the premise of Secret Invasion is Gravik. He's a bad Skrull. He hates Nick Fury because Nick Fury promised him when he was a child that they'd get him a new home and blah, blah, blah. So now he's super angry at Nick Fury, which I can kind of understand because, you know, he promised to get you a new home and he didn't do it. So I can understand why he's pissed. But wanting to wipe out all of humanity just because one guy pissed you off, that's kind of douchey. But to stop Gravik, Nick Fury comes back from space, teams up with Talos. Turns out Talos has a daughter named Gaia, played by Emilia Clarke, and all hell breaks loose, but in like the most boring way. Because yes, there is a decent amount of action in this, but at least for me, it was dull. Like, it wasn't exciting, partly because I knew at no point was Nick Fury's life truly in danger because his ass is in the trailer for the Marvels movie. So I'm sitting there, it's like, why are you doing this? I know he's not gonna die because there he is in space with Monica Rambeau, and there he is with Monica Rambeau going to Kamala Khan's house. It's like, he's alive. But honestly, I could look past that if it wasn't for the stupid reason Gravik wanted to kill us. His grand plan was nuclear war, which ultimately it is kind of a good plan because nuclear war would wipe out humanity, or at least most of humanity. And as it is established, the Skrulls are immune to radiation. But my issue with it is, yes, they're immune to radiation, but are they immune to the gigantically massive, huge blast that a nuclear bomb would create? I don't think so. I feel like a lot of Skrulls would end up dying from the explosion, and it's like, you just defeated the purpose. And while it is very interesting to see who the Skrulls have taken over, they've taken over world leaders, they've taken over military people, and it is very intriguing who they took over. And especially one character, it's like, okay, this guy's a Skrull. How long has he been a Skrull? And it is not at all explained. We get a quick throwaway line in the very last episode is like, oh, you've been, you know, basically all the people they've taken over, they've kept them in captivity. When they're all released, we get a quick throwaway line like, oh, you've been here for a long time. It's like, okay, how long is a long time? Was he there during the battle of fucking Thanos? Did he disappear with the snap? What? It's like, what's going on? There's also a thing where somebody asks Nick Fury, oh, why don't you call your special friends? And I'm sitting there and it's like, yes, why don't you call your special friends? At the very least, call Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, because she fucking hates Skrulls. So, like, she'd be the perfect person to call to fight the Skrulls with you. And his excuse is, oh, this is personal. And he also says you can't always rely on the superheroes, which is true, but you could at least call and be like, hey, are you on planet or near planet to maybe help me with this gigantic Skrull invasion that's trying to bomb and murder humanity? And then, Gravik's ultimate plan, his final part of the plan, bomb our people. It's like, isn't your whole thing to kill humanity so that your people have a place to live? Why? It's like, oh my, like, what is happening? And the ending. It's like, you know, the President of the United States declares war on all off-world species. They are now enemy combatants. And there's a huge problem with that, because some of the Avengers are off-world species. So what if Thor comes back? Is he an enemy combatant? What happens when during the Marvels, when Carol Danvers shows back up? Is she considered an enemy combatant because she's an off-world species? Whew. this just bugged me, man. This was also, I felt like, a very good show to like really let Maria Hill, Colby Smulders, like shine. Like this could have been her moment to shine, and if you watch the show, you know what happened. If you haven't watched it yet for whatever reason, I'm not going to spoil it. But it's like, this was the perfect time to do it, and you threw it the fuck away. Ultimately, Secret Invasion, it does have a few teeny tiny shining moments. Like, Samuel L. Jackson is amazing. This was 100% his vehicle, and he did what he could to make it great, which it's still not great, like not at all. But he himself is fantastic, which not a surprise because he's Samuel L. Jackson. The only thing I wish he could have said was motherfucker. But obviously it's a Disney Plus show, so he's not going to say it. And Olivia Colman, she, in my opinion, absolutely stole the show. Like, she was amazing. Every time she was on screen, it was like, I want more of her. And Emilia Clarke is also great, which not much of a surprise. She's always great. She may not be in great things, but at least she herself is great. Oh, I also forgot the big ending, like the big final fight between Gravik and another character, which I won't spoil if you haven't seen the finale yet. And apparently Fury has been collecting the DNA of all the Avengers, of all of the villains, since day one, into like one vial. Like, he mixed it all together, which is kind of weird. But then all of a sudden, Gravik and this other person have all of the powers of the Avengers and all the villains of the Avengers, and they're fighting like that. Which, on paper, sounds great, but the execution just... it was dumb. Oh my god, I really wanted to like this, because this is like dark, and it's moody, and it's very far away from the usual MCU stuff. And I like dark, because I'm a horror fan. Like, I knew this wasn't going to be horror, but I like dark. And while this was dark, it was not at all satisfying. I, unfortunately, give Secret Invasion a D. Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when more reviews go live. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie or show, and I will see you next time.